Why is it legal to advertise things as flushable when they aren't? It's legal because, apparently, flushable is like that one friend who says they can run a marathon, but gets winded walking upstairs. Sure, you can technically flush these things, but your pipes might want to file a restraining order afterward. It's a marketing loophole where flushable really just means won't immediately clog your toilet, but good luck later. Middle of the roll of toilet paper news to me, I've never seen ads purporting those to be flushable. There is actually some law about this in the US. The final order settling the complaint prohibits NICEBAC from misrepresenting that any wipe is safe to flush, unless it can substantiate that the wipe will disperse in a sufficiently short amount of time after flushing to prevent clogging and/or damage to household plumbing, sewage lines, septic systems, and other standard wastewater treatment equipment. Specifically, the substantiation must be based on the expertise of professionals in the relevant area and have been conducted and evaluated in an objective manner by qualified persons, using procedures generally accepted in the profession to yield accurate and reliable results. Those tests must substantially replicate the physical conditions of the claimed environment in which the item can be properly disposed. Just the first thing I found at the FTC's website, https. Because your local pizza place gets to call themselves world famous. Because they are flushable, it's just a bad idea. It will flush. Also, the plumber-approved ones are approved by the plumber putting his kid through college. Japan has legislation. My friend is on a group providing technical advice regarding flushables and mentioned Japan's has test methodology standards that ensures flushed items disintegrated well enough to not harm the sewage and treatment systems. There's no authority that certifies things as flushable, despite begging from public works agencies. If you really want to be careful, you probably shouldn't flush anything that isn't designated as safe for septic tanks. They go down right? Flushable. Because they are literally flushable. As in, when you flush, they are gone. They are now the sewer's problem, and a big problem it is, but these things are not advertised as sewer safe. I know the government doesn't have our best interest at heart. I'm just curious. Why does this get thrown in here? Doesn't even relate, it's such a weird comment. It's frustrating, right? The legality often hinges on definitions and regulations that vary by location. Manufacturers can sometimes get away with labeling products as flushable based on their own testing, even if they don't break down as easily as toilet paper. Enforcement of false advertising laws can also be inconsistent, and many consumers may not complain until after experiencing issues. Ultimately, it often comes down to corporate interests outweighing consumer protection, leaving us to deal with the aftermath in plumbing systems. I looked at wet wipes in the grocery a couple weeks ago, and they all said do not flush on them. Is it different in your store? Keep hearing you can't actually flush those things. Why are you presuming that the random people telling you that you can't flush them are correct, and the manufacturers are lying? Wouldn't a more plausible starting point be that the reaction people telling you that you can't flush them are wrong? In any case though, the reality is way more complicated than simple yes/no answers. Most flushable wipes are indeed much more gentle on the sewage system than other varieties. You can prove that yourself at home. Just put a flushable wipe in a glass of water for a day and see what happens. It will generally break down into little fragments, just as advertised. But there's also a question of quality, quantity, and degrees. Will a single flushable wipe break down before it causes any plumbing or sewage problems? Almost certainly. Will 1,000 wipes all going through the sewage system at once because an entire neighborhood is using them? Probably not. This is one of those questions where both sides can have completely contradictory opinions and both be correct. The statement is fraudulent. Lawsuits about this. Some towns have gotten involved and sued companies due to the damage to city plumbing systems. I have never seen toilet tubes or cat litter advertised as flushable. Almost anything is flushable if you are brave enough. You can flush them. I do it all the time. You flush and they go down. They screw up the sewer system, but nobody is selling them as won't screw up the sewer system. Only flush TPP poo, vomit, and leftover soups. Maybe the law only cares if it can be flushed, not if it should be flushed. They are perfectly flushable, just like you can stick your dick in a ceiling fan. These are things you definitely shouldn't do. But there's no reason your penis can't have a label slapped on it saying it can be used in a ceiling fan, because from a marketing perspective, it can.